Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Perfection Unfolding with me, Cara G. How are we doing today, everybody? I'm good, I think. We're going to get into it in a little bit, but happy Tuesday. If you're watching on YouTube, you're my favorite. um, I haven't spoken to you guys in a year. Last week, I came at you with an interview with my mom just to kind of kick off the show, which was super fun. Hopefully, you listened to that. Let me know your feedback on that. Leave comments. I kind of scooted off the episode a little bit earlier because my niece was starting to cry, and so duty called. But this week, I wanted to come at you with a traditional, like, we're back at it again. I've got my thoughts, I've got my feelings. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to share. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling spicy. I'm feeling sexy. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you who are new here, this is the vibe. We are here to chit chat. It's just you and me here. It's you and me in your car. It's you and me at the gym. I want this to be a safe space. I want this to be a space where we can express ourselves and where we can have open dialogue and creative, curious conversation because that's what I'm here to do. That's how I feel like I can contribute to the world. I think that this is the thing I'm best at, if I'm being honest, is asking questions and oversharing, if I'm being honest. Um, but in a consensual way. Like if at any point you're like, bro, this is not for me, please, I welcome that. But if I'm your flavor, if I'm your type of vibe, energy, whatever, stick around because we're just getting started. In episodes in last season, in season one, they were a lot longer. I'm gonna try to do my best to consolidate or just kind of be a little bit more concise in the delivery of some things. So, housekeeping, whatever. That's my intention moving forward. I don't really think it's necessary for you to listen to me rattle on for 2.5 hours about, you know, God knows what. But that being said, I have not spoken to you guys in a year. So, housekeeping, life updates. So it's been a year. Literally, last time I talked to you, I had just moved back from California. I think I was looking for a job. I ended up finding a job. I ended up using my broadcast degree for the first time in 10 years since I graduated from college, um, being a broadcast video editor, which was really cool. I did that for about 6 months. That gig didn't pan out. Mind you, I ended up getting back with my ex when I got back here. I know, the tea. I'm only human. What can I say? And for those of you who've been following since the beginning, you know the struggle with the ex. Sending love, always sending love. But did that thing for a little bit. We were on again, and then we were off again, and then I ended up quitting that job at the news station I worked at. We broke up, and then found another job and started dancing a little bit again. Was still kind of being depressed, and then got back with my ex for the third time. um, I've still got the same job I've had since October. The ex and I have broken up for the third and final time. I think one of these days I'll get into the things I've the things that have come out of that, but I think I'm still in the integration and processing piece of that puzzle. Um, but you guys, if go back to season one, if you want the history, if you want the lore, go back to season one, and you will be riding that roller coaster wave with me. I'm probably gonna write a movie. I'm probably gonna have to create a screenplay or something about that experience because it was and is um I think it was just really powerful, the things that I gleaned from that experience. But that's for another episode for another day. But that in the long story made a little bit shorter. I took a Spanish class in between there. I started dancing on a pre-professional industry dance team, hip hop team that I'm still on. And we're kind of just figuring it out. When I ended season one last year, I feel like I did it right as my creative juices were starting to flow. And if I let myself think about it in my ego space brain too long, I start to have some regrets because I'm like, what if I just kept going and I didn't stop to do the relationship thing and I didn't stop to like figure out how to do the job thing? And that's all just ego. Everything panned out exactly the way that it was meant to. Everything panned out divinely. It was perfectly unfolded. And it continues to perfectly unfold. That's the whole point of the show is that, a lot of times when we look back, it's the only time we can really extract the positive experience from what we went through. But my whole goal in in having this philosophy is to do that in real time, is to have gratitude for what I'm going through, even if it sucks, even if it hurts, even if it's a pain in my mother ass. It's to have that gratitude and to maintain um, that positive state of mind while I'm going through these tough things. And don't get me wrong, last year, the year before, the year before that, bro, it's giving solar return. It's giving Saturn, or no, not solar return, Saturn return. It's giving Saturn return. Saturn done returned. She took a lap. She took another lap. She took another lap. She kicked me in the ass and she's like, okay, you good now? Or have you learned the lessons you need to learn? Because I'm done. I'm tired. And you keep doing the same damn thing over and over and over again. And me and Saturn, we're like this now. I feel like I'm finally getting the message. And it's perfect timing because I'm turning 30 in literally probably a little over a month, like officially entering the 30s era. And like yesterday, literally yesterday, the new moon in Taurus. I'm a Venus Taurus. I'm ruled by Venus. I'm a Venusian woman. For those of you who are astrology girlies, literally yesterday in the Taurus new moon, I like got the message and I felt like, oh, the chapter the chapter has been completed. The Not just the chapter, but the book. I've written the book and it's time to start writing a new one. And so that's what I've been through. That's what my life has been lately. Lots of beauty in between the tragedy. I mean, I can't even say tragedy. Who am I kidding? Like my life compared to the outer world that's going on right now, politically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, like there's a lot of trauma and lots of tragic things happening. So in my small corner of this universe, I am a happy mofo. I'm a happy girly pop is what the kids are saying. I really can't complain. And that's what today's episode is kind of get into because I kind of caught myself feeling some type of way recently, and we're gonna get into it. Um, but yeah, but overarchingly, man, life is good. Life is good, and I'm healthy. And even though I'm a little bit beat up and bruised from my dance endeavors, and from my love encounters, and from my from all the things I'm trying to do, and all the things that I'm trying to glean the perfection from, how everything's unfolding in divine timing. Yeah, life is good. And I'm grateful for that. In previous episodes, I've had the gift of gratitude section in the beginning, but I'm going to kind of save that for the end. But with that, how are you? How has your life been? Is this resonating with you? Um, Let me know because sometimes I let myself pretend like I'm an individual in this human experience, which I am in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms. But we're in this together. Like, we are all a human race. We are, I believe, one collective consciousness. And we're reflections of each other. So I'm sure I'm not the only person experiencing this. I'm not the first person to go through a solar return. I'm not the first person to go through a breakup. I'm not the first person to have a tiffination with somebody who's supposed to be above me in like a hierarchical structure of like a program that I'm a part of, right? We've all, I don't know why I just said all those words together like that. It sounds crazy. But like my point being is that we are doing this as a collective. We're about to collectively experience the recession. We're about to collectively experience what it's like to have a measles outbreak. I'm not saying all that's a fear monger. I'm just saying like things are always happening negatively, positively. Like where there's light, there's a shadow, right? And I'm just here to, share the tools that help me and to illuminate the good bits because there's so many people yelling and screaming at us left and right, telling us how the world is burning and how the whales are dying. All things that are true. All things that are true, and I am not denying the fact that those things happen. But if I can contribute anything to this planet in my tiny little existence, my tiny little bean of existence, I want it to be the bright side. I don't want it to be the bypassing of the bad. I fully recognize, I fully observe the bad, the bits of bad, the chunks of bad. And I don't even like using bad or good. It's like I like to use the binary of helpful and hurtful because I feel like it's easier to hold and feels more empowering to use those words, the context of those words, because that's really what we're getting at when we say good and bad is this hurt me or this helped me. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. Then buckle the fuck up because we're about to have a joy ride, bitch. That being said, um, today I wanted to talk. Today I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about this an experience that I haven't felt in I want to say like a pretty long time, and that's loneliness. I just told you about all this. I'm going to talk about all this joy and we're going to have so much fun. And I just really built you up just so I could bring you to the topic of loneliness. But stay with me, stay with me. So yesterday, or I would say the last couple weeks, I've been feeling off. I've been feeling a little bit wonky, which isn't, it's not an unusual thing for me to experience. Like, I'm a cyclical being just like any other animal on the planet. Like, I am one with the moon. I literally have I have my period every new moon. I ovulate every full moon. Like, you want to call me a witch? Be my guest. But I'm very cyclical. Like, I consider myself to be a healthy person. I'm very in tune with my hormone cycle. And loneliness is just kind of, it used to be such a mainstay in my life when I was younger. I always felt so lonely, like depressed, melancholic. I always felt like an outsider, and I kind of talked about that a little bit on last week's episode with my mom. Like my mom and I have that shared experience of always feeling, well, we've had points in our life where we feel like we are on the outside looking in and that we just can't figure out how to break through that glass. And it's glass that I'm sure we put there. It's like a projected glass. The glass, if I asked anybody around me, would be like, what are you talking about? Like, of course you're a part of the group, you know? But I haven't had that feeling in a long while. And I caught myself feeling it. Um, I'm recording this. I'm recording this on a Monday night. So I felt this on Friday night. And mind you, I'm in tune with my cycle. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm about to start my monthly bleed. So this is probably part of that, right? And then I realized that it was Friday night. And what did I used to do on Friday nights? I used to hang out with my boyfriend, order delicious Indian food or Mexican food or just some kind of delicious meal and watch our show together. Like we would bring the mattress in the living room, we would sit down, we'd snuggle up, we'd like, I'd like get giddy because I loved putting the mattress in the living room. There's just something about a mattress in the living room with like pillows everywhere that just really tingles my little Taurus Venus heart. Just the comfy coziness, just like the material safety of it all. And then you get to watch this piece of art, whatever show it was. Just my favorite, like the lights glowing on your face, and you just feel like a kid who's staying up past their bedtime and you're doing it with this person that you love. And I realized, like, for the first time, granted, we broke up for the last time in like literally right after Valentine's Day. Like, I can't make this shit up. Like, why am I such a stereotype? I don't know. But we broke up in February for like the third and final time, and this is the end of April, right? So it's like it's been almost, it's been a little over a month and a half. And this go around, I had done so much grieving last year that like I felt like there really wasn't much to grieve left. Like I had kind of done the bulk of it on the podcast last year, if I'm being totally honest. Like the boo-hoo crying, the letter writing, the I'm letting you go conversation, like all that stuff happened last year. And so this go around, it was very amicable. It was very like, yeah, you're there and I'm here, and we have no intention, desire, or tools to meet in the middle. So let's just call a spade a spade. Like it was very mature. Um, it was very just like, this is just what's true. And the best kind of breakup you could wish for, right? But the thing that you forget when you're in a relationship is like that person is the person you spend all your time with. That person, low key, high key, turns into your best friend. And this person to me was that. And so I found myself on a Friday night, probably about to start my period, feeling sorry for myself, feeling lonely, feeling like the first time since we broke up this last time, like kind of not bitter, but just a little bit, yeah, just like a little bit of a pity party. Like, I don't have any friends. All my best friends live far away. And I started, instead of going inward and exploring that feeling, the, I did something that I haven't done in a long time. And I started like reaching out to like my acquaintances that live around here, like my closer friends, um, and asking them like what their plans are for the night. I was like, what are you doing tonight? Like, what are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? Just looking for something to do because I was just feeling this feeling of like I need to get out of my house. I just need to I need to be distracted. I need to be around other people. I don't want to be home. I don't want to be home. It was this kind of annoying little buzzing, like zzz, like kind of distracting brain buzz that was just like, do anything to avoid this feeling. Do anything to distract yourself from this feeling. Because I don't like this feeling and I don't want to feel it right now. I want to do literally anything else. And obviously it's not until, like a day later that I put this all together, but like I ended up taking a nap um after I texted all these people, and I kind of made tentative plans. And when I woke up, um the person I'd made plans with was actually like, you know what? I really don't feel like peopling tonight. Like, I'm sorry. And I'm just so glad that they were honest with me, because if I was being honest with myself, I didn't want to go anywhere either. Like, I was in a bad mood. I was feeling some type of way. I was looking for something to distract me and to be around like strangers. Like, I was going to go to a club. I was like, I don't even like going to the club. Like, why would I, when I'm feeling like this, go to the club? Like, I haven't done that kind of avoiding of my feelings since, I want to say, like college, early 20s. Like, I haven't had that fight or flight like response to a strong emotion in that way in such a long time. And when I was thinking about it and I was processing that, this was Friday night. I think this was Saturday that I was processing what I was doing. I like had the self-awareness to realize, like, what are you doing, you silly goose? I realized I was like, wait, I've been avoiding these feelings since February. This is just the pinnacle, most obvious way I've been trying to do it, because the feelings are at the height right now. I wasn't feeling lonely 3 weeks ago, but I started doom scrolling on my phone. I wasn't feeling lonely 4 weeks ago, but I mean, like, let's say like 6 weeks ago, like right around the time we broke up, I wasn't feeling lonely. I was kind of feeling relieved and like I had done the right thing when we broke up originally, but I was eating my weight in dessert. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was doing all these coping mechanisms to avoid these feelings that weren't strong enough to catch my awareness until Friday, when I was like witnessing these people. I was on the internet looking at people doing fun things, realizing that I'm not doing the thing that I used to love doing because of this breakup. And now it's so in my face, I can't ignore it. And that's when I was like, whoa, all like like the coping mechanisms were I've been crazy for the last month and a half. And recently I've given up sugar. So like that's another piece of this puzzle, is like sugar has been my bestie in grief for my entire life. and I've given up cane, specifically cane sugar. Listen, it's not as hard as you think it is, but I'm still eating honey and fruits and stuff like that. But cane sugar I've given up over the last 4 to 6 weeks, right around the time I broke up. Me and the person I was dating broke up. And what's funny is I've been like looking for these other things to fill that because I don't have this like emotional crutch anymore, this sugar. And so like I think that's why I reverted to this old habit. Anyway, all that to say, it's that that response to being lonely is like the antithesis of like who I am trying to be now that I'm almost 30, like, and who I've been the last couple of years. Like I have been the person who's been like sitting in my shit, who's been like processing and integrating and like doing the hard thing and like showing up and crying and letting my feelings express themselves so they don't get stuck in my body. And what I was doing in uh tandem with the eating of the sweets and the doom scrolling on my phone and the looking to do anything but sit at home alone feeling sorry for myself is I was also avoiding being bored. I was avoiding being by myself. Like when I'm healthy, I effing love being alone. I love being by myself. I love spending time with myself. I love frolicking in the park. I love taking like park naps. I love reading books. I love writing in my journal. All things I was doing this time last year when I had season 1 of the podcast come to fruition. I was hermiting hard as shit in the mountains of California, doing the deep work, waking up early, working out, reading my books, writing in my journal, off social media, right? Just really spending time with myself in solitude, hermit mode central, like processing my grief. And this time around, my ego was so convinced that she was good. She's good. I'm a cool girl now. I'm elevated. I'm woke. I'm awake. I'm spiritually enlightened. Bitch, shut up. You are grieving like everybody else in the universe after a breakup. It doesn't matter how mature you were. It doesn't matter how correct of a decision and healthy of a decision it was. Your feelings are hurt and it's okay. And so I say all that to say, like, I was reading this book. I've been reading this book for, a couple months at this point because you know me, I can't just read a fun book. I have to read a self-help book, a spiritually enlightened book. I have to read something that's just going to help me on this journey because I'm obsessed for reasons I'm still trying to figure out. And so I've been reading this book, and you're going to laugh when I tell you what the title is. But it's by John Donahue. You might have heard of the guy. It's called Cara. It has my namesake in it. If you're watching YouTube, I'm holding up the book. And narcissistically, I did buy this book because I saw that it had my name in it. But it is a book of Celtic wisdom, and I've been reading this book off and on, kind of using it like a divination tool, if I'm being honest. And I kind of use all of my books like a divination tool. Like I kind of just pick them out intuitively and I read them as I feel called to. And lo and behold, I go to the park yesterday. So I was feeling sorry for myself on Friday. I processed what I was going through on Saturday. And lo and behold, Sunday, what page do I open up in the book? I open up to none other than the page on the chapter that talks about solitude is luminous, right? I think that, let me not butcher that. What does it say? I think I put it in my notes. Hang on. Yeah, literally, chapter 3, solitude is luminous. Literally speaking about this idea of sitting by yourself and coming back to yourself so that you can feel full and renewed, so that you're not reaching outward to get that feeling of fullness, which is what I was trying to do in my evasion of my feelings. I was trying to look for that feeling of community in places and spaces I don't even feel called to anymore. Like I don't feel called to community, at Double D's in Dallas. Like some people do. I don't. I feel wholeness when I spend time with my inner child and when I spend time with people that I love. I'm not going to find that fulfillment thinking about the good old days of my relationship that ended. It's nice that there are good old days to look back on, but that's not what I need right now. I'm not gonna find fulfillment in sitting in a bar watching other people have a good time while I'm feeling miserable, contributing nothing. Like, no one has fun when I'm in a bad mood. I'm not having fun. You're not having fun because I'm sucking all my energy back into myself, so I'm giving you nothing. Like, what? The logic doesn't make any sense, but it's just so funny how, like, the first place we look to when we feel alone is, like, outward. And this chapter of this book is saying the opposite is true. Like, yes, lean on your people. There's a time and space for that. But it speaks to this concept that the well of your soul is where you find the depth. It's where you find the wholeness. It's where you find community in yourself so that your cup overfloweth and then you share with others. And so I'm gonna read you like bro, this book was just reading me to fill. It was just everything I needed to hear. It was a reminder to me all the things that I've been learning and all the things I've been integrating in my life with my relationship within myself for years that I just like forgot just because the journey isn't linear, guys. Like, whatever lie you're seeing on the internet and these Instagram reels or whatever, the journey is not linear. Like, you're gonna be here and there and over there, and you're just like, it's a roller coaster that you surrender to, right? And you learn what you learn, and you collect the tools that you collect, and you use them when you deem necessary, and that's it. There's no destination. We're enjoying the ride, and sometimes that ride is taking me low, 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 low. But what's the beauty of going low is that there's always coming back up, and I'm here to celebrate and appreciate all of it. Like, even in my like pitiful like, oh, nobody loves me, I have no friends, and like that stupid little pity party I was having, it's still valid. And in that pity party I was laughing at myself because I'm like, I sound ridiculous because I know this isn't true, and yet these feelings are still real. So I'm gonna read you that all that being said, I'm gonna read you it's a little bit long, but I think there's a lot in this short little um, excerpt that just spoke to me in a way that was both reading me for filth and giving me life at the same time. And it was just such a beautiful reminder. A little bit of background, like, this book it's a book of Celtic wisdom. And the reason why I felt called to it is, I don't know, I've just been feeling called to do more research on where I come from. Like, my dad's side of the family is very Scotch, very Irish. Um, My last name's Campbell. Obviously, that's a very Irish name. Like, if you look up the Campbell clan, which I know the word clan is a little bit derogatory in the States, but um, a little bit. Oh my God, it's so derogatory because it's horrible. Anyway, that's not the point. But clan is supposed to represent a family of people, right? In Ireland and Scotland, and the Campbell clan was just a very prominent family, very brutal people, like fighting wars and stuff. But I just think I just, as a white lady in America, like, what culture? I don't know. I'm tired of trying to steal other people's culture. Like, what is my culture? And so I've been feeling called to the spirituality of like the Celtic people, like some paganism stuff, just learning about it. And the more I read, the more I'm just like, this is literally how I think already. Like, my spirituality is rooted in the wholeness of everything. Like, everything's interconnected. I feel very drawn to nature. I'm not worshiping any one thing, but I have a reverence for all life. I have a reverence for the birds that sing and the grass that grows, and it makes me sound like such a hippie, but that's what a lot of this stuff is. It's just philosophy that is helpful, and there's something intuitive about it that just feels true, you know? And so with that, this is from chapter 3 of Anam Cara. Solitude is luminous. And I chopped it up a little bit so you guys can hear different bits, but it says, in everyone's inner solitude, there is that bright and warm hearth. Hearth is like a fire in a house, by the way, for those who want to look it up. The idea of the unconscious, even though it is a very profound and wonderful idea, has sometimes frightened people away from coming back to their own hearth. We falsely understand the subconscious as the cellar where all of our repression and self-damage is housed. Out of our fear of ourselves, we've imagined monsters down there. Yeats, the philosopher, says, man needs reckless courage to descend into the abyss of himself. In actual fact, these demons do not account for all the subconscious. The primal energy of our soul holds a wonderful warmth and welcome for us. One of the reasons we were sent onto the earth was to make this connection with ourselves, this inner friendship. The Celts had an intuitive spirituality informed by mindful and reverent attention to landscape, aka nature. The recovery of soul in our times, so he says, is vital in healing our disconnection to our own inner nature. Oftentimes, all the possessions we have, the work we do, the beliefs we hold, are manic attempts to fill this opening, this disconnection from our own nature, but they never stay in place. They always slip, and we are left more vulnerable and exposed than before. Essentially saying, like, all the stuff we buy and the phones that we fill our time with and the distractions, the going out, the reaching out, the reaching, looking, searching. We think that that's going to fill our void. We think that it's going to fill our cup. We think that's going to make us feel whole and connected and in community. And almost always we're left feeling like it's just not enough, right? He goes on to say, a time comes when you know that you can no longer wallpaper this void. Until you really listen to the call of this void, you will remain an inner fugitive, driven from refuge to refuge, always on the run with no place to call home. Literally, you keep running away from yourself. You look for a home in every boyfriend and every friend and every situation and every hobby and every scroll on your phone. All of it falls flat. And doesn't that just suck? It says this, and this line is like, whoa. To be natural is to be holy, but it is very difficult to be natural. To be natural is to be at home with your own nature, that own warmth from your inner hearth. If you are outside yourself, always reaching beyond yourself, you avoid the call of your own mystery. When you acknowledge the integrity of your solitude and settle into its mystery, your relationships with others take on a new warmth, adventure, and wonder. Which is a long way of saying, if your cup is empty, you're not going to get what you're looking for in other people, because you're going to try to reach for their resources, and it's never going to quite scratch the itch you have. But when you can fill your cup and share what overfloweth with others, it totally changes the game, because you go from a lack mentality to an abundance mentality. You're no longer reaching for abundance, you become it. Oh. He goes on to say, if you bring courage to your solitude, aka if you can just sit with yourself and be courageous in that act, you learn that you do not need to be afraid. You don't need to be afraid of your inner demons. You don't need to be afraid of the person you used to be. You don't need to be afraid of who you might become. Because he says, there is a welcome for you at the heart of your solitude. You can always come home to you, baby. It's me, myself, and I every single day of the week, forever and ever and ever. And that's the relationship I can count on, that when I pour into it, God damn, does she pay me back, because we're happy and we're healthy and we're of sound mind and we feel rooted and grounded and in love. I am love, baby. When I'm in that energy, I am motherfucking love. And you can't squash me. You can't shrink me. You can't tell me nothing, baby. I'm getting off topic. Hang on. It says, if you bring courage to your solitude, you learn that you do not need to be afraid. There is a welcome for you at the heart of your solitude. When you realize this, most of the fear that governs your life falls away. The moment your fear transfigures, you come into rhythm with your own self. This part is like, I love it, because I think of life as this dance, right? And And sometimes you're off beat. And sometimes like when you're off beat, like he's speaking to like, if I'm gonna kind of make this analogy a little bit more my own, sometimes when you're dancing off beat, you're looking for like you're trying to listen for like you're trying to listen for like what the song is giving you. Like, and I guess the song could be your relationships, the beat could be, what you are putting in your body, what you're ingesting, who you're hanging out with, the job you have. Like sometimes you're dancing off beat because like you've got an inner rhythm, right? And if your BPM is one thing and everything outside you is another thing, and you're only focusing on what's outside of you, you're never gonna feel that that syncopation, that like maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. That connection. You're never gonna feel that connection that you have when you dance to the beat, right? I don't know if that made any sense. Maybe I sound like a crazy person, but I hopefully that landed. It makes sense in my brain. Because I know just literally I'm a person who always has a song in my head all the time. That's an inner beat that's in my head. Like I make a beat when I chew food, when I drink water. I make a rhythm with my feet when I'm standing still. I make a rhythm and a beat with my hips and my heels. And I'm just always like boom boom cacking. Like I'm just a very musical person. I love to tap on things. I'm sure it could be quite annoying to other people, but when you live alone, you can, well, I don't live alone, but when you spend a lot of time alone, nobody cares because it's just me, right? And there's nobody else who is privy to that. It's just me. And when I'm tapped in, I'm locked in, I'm having a great time. And I can have a good time to other people's music, but if I wasn't, if there was a time where I'm like not creating music, that's how I know something's off, you know? Anyway, I digress. It goes on to say, only in solitude can you discover a sense of your own beauty. The divine artist, love that, the divine artist sent no one here without the depth and light of divine beauty. In the neglected crevices and corners of your evaded solitude, aka the parts of you that you're afraid to dive into, the parts of you that you avoid because you feel like it'd be awkward or uncomfortable or difficult to deal with. It says you find the treasure that you have always sought elsewhere. Literally. Me at home, feeling sorry for myself, of trying my best to avoid these feelings of pain and sorrow from this breakup that absolutely deserves my attention to my pain and sorrow. Like the next day, when I was thinking about it and I journaled about it and I illuminated those parts of the corners that I've been avoiding since February, I felt so much better. And my body, like I had this big like, thank you for paying attention to me. Like, thank you for validating my experience. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for engaging with me. Like, I was having a conversation with my sorrow, with my depression, with my grief, and that I had been avoiding for a month and a half because I thought that because it was small, it wasn't important. Like, just because the grief I had last year was so in my face doesn't mean that the grief I have this year isn't as important, right? And I was avoiding it because subconsciously, if I'm being honest, because I knew it was going to be hard and I didn't feel like crying and I didn't feel like going there and I was feeling kind of bitter for having to grieve again, right? Like I was kind of jaded and had a chip on my shoulder about how I did this a third time, right? And I sort of had half feelings of regret of like, why did I do this to myself again? I knew this was going to happen, right? I'm obviously like I have no regrets and everything happens exactly the way that it does. But you have moments of like every once in a while you keep thinking like, well, what if unhelpful thoughts of what ifs and could ifs and should ifs. And anytime there's a should in the conversation, that means that there's shame there. So I'm also avoiding the shame I feel, right? Um, but as soon as I brought light to them, as soon as I gave them my attention, they disappeared. I mean, there's obviously the grief, it doesn't just go away, but like the 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 prevalent feeling of like seeking outside myself to fill this void, to like distract myself, that went away because I was like, oh, it's not scary here. Like I love myself, I can count on myself, I'm here for me, thank you. and I'd be in my journal just like, I love you, girl. You're my best friend. Like, thank you so much for showing up to the journal today because I know you've been avoiding it because I know you didn't want to have this conversation, but like, I'm crazy. um, okay, the last bit. Let's finish this up. So the last thing it said was, "You will find treasure that you have always sought. Elsewhere." It says there is a deep beauty within each person, in which its real sense. Sorry, I paused because my freaking air conditioner is on and I just realized it. It's okay. Hopefully you forgive me. Anyway, sorry. Whoa, I just had a squirrel moment. We're back. It goes on to say, there is a deep beauty within each person. In its real sense, beauty is the illumination of your soul. There is a lantern in the soul which makes your solitude luminous, which is what I just spoke to. Like, in some way, I was illuminating the deep corners of my soul, but in the other sense, my soul was illuminating those deep corners itself. It's not just me and my brain. It's like, I hope that makes sense. It's saying the essence of who you are is light, right? The essence of who you are is this beauty. It's this lantern. It's this guidepost to bring you home. And every time we avoid that in our little ego brains, our little monkey minds, we forget. We convince ourselves that like we're these deep dark pits with like tragedy and trauma, and those things may be true, but that's a piece of it. The core of who you are, though, is light. It is beauty. Like, it is love. And whether you believe that or not, that's your thing. That's what I choose to believe, because you cannot sit here and tell me that and look a newborn baby in the face and be like, "You're a sinner." You can say that all you want, and I'm gonna look at you like this. I love babies, bro. If you like pure love incarnate, that's what that is. And that's what I think we are our entire lives. Like, that's where the whole idea of like we are perfection unfolding, because we spend our whole lives walking this road, picking up things that are unhelpful, right? When we're kids, when we're teenagers, when we're young adults. And if we're lucky enough, we get the chance to turn around and walk back home where we started and put down all those things that we don't need anymore to get back to the essence of who we are, which is that like perfect, luminous being full of love. That is love, not even full of love, is love, right? It's just a remembering. That's what this whole podcast is about, just remembering that we are literally perfect as is, full stop. I digress. It says, when you inhabit your solitude fully and experience its outer extremes of isolation and abandonment, aka the wounds we feel, the things that freak us out about ourselves, the things we don't want to face, it says, you will find that at its heart, there is neither loneliness nor emptiness, but intimacy and shelter. It says, unless you find belonging in your solitude, your external longing will remain need and driven. It's like, if you don't come home to yourself, if you don't find that peace within yourself and that community, that inner friendship, that, what does it say? The intimacy and shelter that lives there. Like, if you don't have the courage to go inward, the itch is never going to get scratched when you're clawing at the tails of the external world, my guy. And that's what's so crazy, is that your internal world is infinite. It's this infinite well of love and shelter, because, like I said before, the relationship you have with you is the only one that you can count on for certain for the extent of your life. It's going to be there. You're your ride or die, my guy. Everything else is extra. So it's like, in today's spiritual day and age, people are like, it's so narcissistic to think about yourself all the time and think about your boundaries and your spirituality and your life. And to that, I say, I agree. However, in everyone's journey, there is a time to focus on self, to focus on the relationship with yourself, because so many of us hate ourselves. when we first start this work. So many of us feel so deeply disconnected from our soul. Whoa, this is going to be making me a little bit emotional. I hated myself. I felt so disconnected from myself. I did everything under the sun to keep myself from looking inward. I was an alcoholic. I didn't think I was at the time, but looking back, I absolutely was a social alcoholic. I was a food binger where I would just eat and eat and eat and eat and avoid and avoid and avoid. Just, I was a dopamine miner to the extreme, like a maximalist, a dopamine maximalist. I would avoid with hobbies, I would avoid with exercise, I would avoid with food, I would avoid with alcohol, I would avoid, men was the one thing I wouldn't avoid my inner world with, or keep myself distracted by until a couple much later, but just anything and everything to keep myself busy, to keep the bees buzzing. And now when the bees buzz, I'm like, why are you buzzing? Like, what's going on? This is like an old thing that's like coming up. And it wasn't until I went inward that I was like, I went inward, I found a lot of scary things. I found a lot of shame. I found a lot of self-hatred, self-loathing. I found a lot of like, whoa, all of these coping mechanisms are just symptoms of these deep internalized like trauma and guilt. And so like I did that. I saw those things and I had the courage to. Like that's the first thing is you have to realize and wake up to the fact that something is wrong. That's step one, which I think happened to a lot of us during COVID. And then step two is having the courage to face it. And then once that's done, you get to step three. And step three is like, bro, I was just trying my best. I'm actually kind of dope. I'm actually like, now that I'm taking care of myself, I'm a person I can trust. I'm a person I can love. I'm a person I do love. And then it keeps getting progressively better and better and better. And then you just end up with this beautiful friendship. And that's what this is speaking to, is like, until you do that, nothing's ever going to fill the void. Nothing's ever going to fill your cup. No relationship, no matter how wonderful and beautiful it is, no mom, no dad, no brother, no sister, no child is going to fix that void. Like, it's a you versus you problem, my guy. And I don't even want to call it a problem. It's a you versus you mission. And it's just mission one, which sounds crazy if you've been spending your whole life doing it, because this is a whole lifelong journey, right? But I do think that you get to a certain point where you start to harvest the oats that you sowed, the plants that you, however that phrase goes. There comes a point where you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. There it is. And continue doing the work at the same time. There's one last sentence that this goes into. It finishes off where I stopped. It says, the deepest things that you need are not elsewhere. They are here and now in that circle of your own soul, in your own solitude. It would be a lovely gift to yourself to go there often, to be nourished, strengthened, and renewed. And that's it. That's, once you've figured out what that looks like for you, for me, it's journaling. For me, it's giving my inner child time and space to wander around a store or a park or a museum. I love to just wander and look and smell the roses and the flowers, and just sit with myself and let myself think and let myself ponder and let myself self-reflect. Most of the time, it's not hard work anymore the way it used to be. It used to be a lot of work. And it's not anymore. And I'm grateful for that, because now instead of doing what I did on Friday for 6 months, it was just one night and I self-reflected and I journaled and I went to the park and I took care of myself and I made a good meal and now I'm good. And that's what I wanted to leave you with. Yeah, I'm grateful for that practice. I'm grateful for this book and I'm grateful for you. And I'm about to run out of storage on my phone for my video. So if you liked today's episode, subscribe on the YouTube channel at Perfection Unfolding Pod with Cara G, or at Perfection Unfolding with Cara G on YouTube, at Perfection Unfolding Pod on Instagram. And I officially have launched my website, perfectionunfolding.com. I literally did it last night. I just built out a full website, top to bottom, by myself from scratch. Built out branding, new logos, everything. We've got merch on there, so like exclusive Perfection Unfolding merch that lives on that website, perfectionunfolding.com. And yeah, welcome to the community if you haven't been here. Um, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. Love ya the most. I'm excited to see where this season 2 takes us. We're gonna have lots more interviews, we're gonna have lots more conversation. I plan on doing these solo episodes every once in a while just to reflect and keep you guys updated. But yeah, that's it. Tune in next week. Okay, bye.